Hey guys, King of Charmanders here, and today I bring to you a video on the best Nightshade Paolumu Weapons Guide for all weapon types. This video analyzes the weapons of the new subspecies of Dancing in the Tempest. So Nightshade Paolumu is the new subspecies and the first one of Dancing in the Tempest. The Nightshade Paolumu weapons hold the sleep element. That's what makes them really interesting, and they have some really cool effects. In addition, these weapons are also incredibly powerful if used with status sneak attack. Moving on, we have the list of Nightshade Paolumu weapons. If you like purple, that's my mom's favorite color, you're gonna love these weapons, and I will admit that color scheme does look pretty dang cool. For the sword and shield, you have the Nyx Tabor, or Tabar. You have the Great Sword, which is the Nyx Razor. The Hammer, which is the Nyx Hammer. The Lance, which is the Nyx Halberd. The light bowgun, which is called the Nightmare Cannon, and the bow, which is the Nightmare String. The light bowgun and bow have really cool names, by the way. Speaking of cool, the Nightshade Paolumu's weapons forge stats are actually pretty cool. The Nightshade Paolumu weapons start at grade 5, and their element is sleep, with their base raw attack being 478, and their base element attack being 188, with a base affinity of 0. And here's a reminder that status elements do not affect damage, but status buildup to inflict a status element. In this case, we're going to inflict sleep once we built up enough status buildup for these Nightshade Paolumu weapons. And here are the requirements to forge the Nightshade Paolumu weapons. The forge requirements for the Nightshade Paolumu weapons, they cost 6 Nightshade Paolumu scales, which are rarity 1, 10 Machilite ores, which are rarity 2, 2 Nightshade Paolumu wings, which are rarity 3, 2 Nightshade Paolumu prime scales, which are rarity 4, as well as 1500 Zenny. But the thing is, that's a new forge. What about max? Well, here's Nightshade Paolumu weapons, grade 10.5 max stats. So the Nightshade Paolumu weapons max stats at grade 10.5 is what we're looking at right here. Their element is sleep, with their max raw attack being 2103 and their max elemental attack being 312. Their affinity also stays at 0. So the thing about the Nightshade Paolumu weapons is that at grade 10.5 they have high raw attack and decent elemental status value. It's pretty much like not as much like the Pink Rothian weapons, but Nightshade Paolumu operates in sort of the same way. But with that status value of 312, it's actually pretty decent for a weapon with high raw as far as status element goes. And next up, we have the Nightshade Paolumu weapons max cost. So, Nightshade Paolumu uses Wyvern Gem Shards for its rarity 6. Thankfully, we don't need a unique rarity 6, but that follows the rest of the subspecies. All the subspecies as of right now use Wyvern Gem Shards as their rarity 6. So if you've been playing for a while, you probably have a lot stored up. Nightshade Paolumu also requires a lot of materials to max out its weapons. So there's a lot of other materials you need. I'm not going to read them all off because there's a whole lot, as you see right here. In addition, you'll need 25 weapon refining parts and 425,000 Zenny. The estimated amount of Nightshade Paolumu you'll have to slay is 498 7-star Nightshade Paolumus to obtain all the parts needed to max a Nightshade Paolumu weapon out. It's important to note this estimation does not include obtaining Wyvern Gem Shards and Zenny. So again, I hope you have a lot of Wyvern Gem Shards stacked up, or you have enough to almost max, or you're planning to max the Nightshade Paolumu weapons if you're going after them to grade 10.5. Moving on, we have the Sleep Elemental monster types melee comparison. So there are 2 monsters with the sleep element. You have Nightshade Paolumu, which is the new one, and you have Radobaan. There are 2 sleep monster types as of Dancing in the Tempest, and as we see per the data, Nightshade Paolumu weapons are the strongest. They have a lower status elemental value, but higher raw damage. Standing at almost 10% or literally 0.001 from 10% more damage than Radobaan, the Nightshade Paolumu weapons are definitely better. Status sneak attack can make up for the decent sleep elemental value, and you would want to pair it with this anyways, unless you're using the light bowgun, which we're going to cover in a bit. It's also worthy to note that the Nightshade Paolumu has a lance weapon type where Radobaan does not. So Radobaan only has 3 weapon types. It doesn't have 6 total like the Nightshade Paolumu weapons, and like I mentioned, Nightshade Paolumu has one for the lance, where Radobaan does not. And to make a point of why the Nightshade Paolumu weapons are better than Radobaan, we're gonna look at their equipment skills. This is looking at Nightshade Paolumu versus Radobaan's equipment skills. Nightshade Paolumu has sneak attack versus Radobaan's defense boost. And if you know me, you already know. Sneak attack is definitely the better skill and pairs well with status sneak attack. A lot of you have been telling me status sneak attack and sneak attack are amazing. Well, of course, because you have to be behind the monster. You must be near its booty or near its legs, and then you must blast it or smack it to oblivion in order to proc that status, as well as that damage boost you get from sneak attack. Along with that, defense boost is pretty worthless. This is due to Monster Hunter now prioritizing offense and positioning over defense and guarding. So, I'm all about DPS. In fact, that's if you know about MMOs, I'm literally a DPS. So, damage per second. Damage. But that's what it is in Monster Hunter now. If you're defense and guarding, that means you play in a group and you're not used to playing solo play, because you're safe in a group versus having a monster that's in your face, unless you're using something like Charge Blade, where you're trying to proc guard points so that you can go ahead and switch to axe mode and just absolutely body the monster in front of you. In addition, what makes the Nightshade Paolumu weapons so cool is that they have ranged weapons. So this is the Sleep Elemental Monster Bow and Light Bowgun. First, we're going to start off with looking at the damage when you compare all of them together as far as ranged weapons. Here we take a look at the Nightshade Paolumu Light Bowgun and bow damage comparisons. And as we see per the data, Nightshade Paolumu Light Bowgun with recoil down level 3 and reload speed level 3 does more damage versus focus level 5 and focus level 4 damage when it comes to bows. However, it's important to note that the purpose of sleep weapons is to inflict sleep. So 6% isn't a huge difference in damage unless it's comparing focus level 4 instead of focus level 5. If you're trying to inflict status element buildup, you should have focus 5 ideally, not focus 4, unless you're forcing perfect dodges. However, it's important to note things like when you're facing Kushala or other future Elder Dragons, you're not probably going to have the monster attacking you 90% of the time unless it's doing an AoE or a sweeping attack and then you're dodging it like that. Anyhow, no matter what you're trying to spin it or do it, you need to be behind the monster to use status sneak attack if that's what you're using to proc your element. So again, damage wise, it doesn't mean too much of a difference unless you're using focus 4. However, when it comes to status affliction elements, etc., you should be using focus 5. And you know what's cool about the Light Bowgun? It has an ammo set. And here we take a look at the Nightshade Paolumu Light Bowgun ammo set. The Nightshade Paolumu Light Bowgun has only 3 sleep ammo, allowing you to quickly get to sticky ammo and pierce ammo. So, for those of you that aren't Light Bowgun mains, or you Light Bowgun mains know this. As soon as you use up your ammo, you can reload to the next one. And the great thing about the Nightshade Paolumu one, after the sleep ammo, you go straight to sticky. It also has 3 sticky ammo versus the usual 2 for other Light Bowguns, along with a slow reload speed that can be increased by using reload speed level 3. This may allow you to have a combination of stun and sleep status effects with the Light Bowgun. However, it's interesting to note that sleep status only boosts the damage of the first hit after you put a monster to sleep. Due to this, Light Bowgun isn't really built for big sleep damage numbers. If you're looking for big numbers as far as sleep element goes, unfortunately you're not going to get that, because it's weird with the Light Bowgun. You can't do that with sticky either, because what happens with the sleep element is that when you fire that sticky shot, guess what? That's the first hit when it sticks onto the monster, and then after it explodes, that's when you'll do the big damage. So, yeah, a Light Bowgun is actually really weird. It would actually be best used in a group instead of a solo one, but like I mentioned before, you can combine the stun and the sleep together to make one hell of a CC or crowd control set of build against a monster. So it's really up to you. In addition, it's important to note that status sneak attack might not be viable. This is due to the sticky ammo requiring you to hit the head to stun and requiring reload speed level 3 and recoil down level 3 for maximum damage per second or DPS. And now we move on to the Nightshade Paolumu Bow. Here are its charge levels and damage levels. Nightshade Paolumu Bow has Rapid level 3 at Charge level 2, which is 1 blink. This allows you to machine gun sleep status buildup against monsters. No, literally, you could sit there and blast away at a monster rapidly with Rapid, and you can also target weak points accurately because Rapid, all the arrows go to 1 point. The bow is also flexible when making a status sneak attack build, so the bow is the best one out of the two for light bowgun if you're going status sneak attack. This is because you could go behind the monster, rapid fire it to sleep, and then after that, after you put a monster to sleep, you can charge to spread level 4 and use that initial volley to deal maximum damage to the sleeping monster. So after you put the monster to sleep, you can go ahead, load up your spread level 4 with 3 blinks and absolutely just go in a close range and blast the monster's cheeks to oblivion with that first initial big damage spread. So that's what makes the bow, out of the two light ranged weapons, the bow is definitely the one that's able to take advantage sleep better versus the light bowgun. Or rather, just the light bowgun's really weird, whereas the bow's not. Bow's really simple. You charge, you blast, and then after that, when you put monster to sleep, you go ahead, charge 3 blinks, and then you go ahead and shotgun the poor booty cheeks of the monster you are facing. Hopefully this guide helps you decide what Nightshade Paolumu weapon to build. As of this video, Nightshade Paolumu is available in the eastern side of the world as their paid ticket event has started, and it will soon come to the west. I try to time these the best I can so that as soon as we're able to release this sort of content, because of timing, etc., working as a Capcom content creator as well as working with Niantic, you need to make sure stuff releases in the east before you can put this stuff out. So, Nightshade Paolumu weapons also have the potential to be the best support meta for group hunts. So paralysis is pretty dang good, but sleep is as well, and with this new sleep buff, which it was so desperately needed, it's definitely consider it to be the best support meta for group hunts. I can't wait to test this out against Kushala Daora and see how much I put it to sleep. With that being said, please do me a huge favor, like, subscribe, and comment for the YouTube algorithm. Hopefully y'all are excited for Nightshade Paolumu's early release if you bought the ticket. If not, don't worry about it. It's going to come back into the field. They said it before. Nightshade Paolumu will be returning on the field for future events, so don't worry about it. You got something important to do, take care of the important thing first, and then play the game. And remember, it's coming back later, so again, don't worry about it. Good luck on your grinds, and I will see y'all on the next video.